Hello, welcome. It is stream time on Sunday. I even had time to mess with my lighting a little bit, which is kind of fun. And I'm wearing a very bright coral salmon-y sweater, so makes me happy. And then this is gonna sound really kind of lame, but the beginning sequence I really enjoy because it just makes me happy, which is part of the point. It should be. It should be like raven flavored, so colorful and fun and stuff and ponies. So hopefully that helped make your day a little bit better, even if it was just seeing ponies, even with the kind of cheesy horse sounds. But cheesy horse sounds make me happy too. So I don't know. I'm made like that. I think some of you guys are too. So it works out. I'm going to go say hello to the chat. We have Kinsey. Welcome, Kinsey. Hello. Jennifer, hi. How's it going? Amy, Momo, hello, both of you. Yeah, it's going to be fun today. So the world feels extra heavy. And while we try not to be political in this space, I think that the studio stuff's better without all of that. There's so much of it everywhere else that it's nice to not have that focused here. This is like our happy pony space, right? So while that is true, it is also true that in the world in general, it's been a little bit crazy. So the topic for the stream today, once we get through all the updates and stuff, will be how to deal with creative block. And us creative people are more sensitive to the goings on around us. And I think that has a massive impact on our ability to work, our mental state when we're working, and the art that we produce in general. And even if you're not necessarily creative in the sense that you don't think you fit into the typical box, everybody has that inside of them, and we're all impacted by this. So hopefully the topic will help kind of in general, not even if you're just someone that's producing some sort of creative something or that you deem as a creative something. It will hopefully help some part of your quality of life right now, because the world is really challenging, and hopefully I can help with a little bit of that. And we can get through it together, because that's why we're here. So that's going to be the topic, creative block and the creative blues. So that's kind of like that impact of the weight of everything. And that applies to events in your life and other things that pop up too. It doesn't have to mean that the world is chaos and therefore I have to try and sort myself out. That's helpful. But also with things that pop up, because life likes to do that, where it's like, oh, someone's sick, or I'm sick, or you lose someone in your life, or your tire goes flat on the side of the road, or I don't know. There's so many things that can happen in life. So hopefully we can help learn to weather that together. And maybe some of the things that I've gone through will help you guys weather things a little bit better. So yay, it gives meaning to the things that we go through in life to be able to transmute them and help other people. So hopefully that helps. Amy, thank you for putting the heads up when the stream was starting. It helps a lot so I don't miss it. I try to do that, so I'm glad that's helpful. I will keep that in mind. The more you guys remind me it's helpful, the more I will likely remember to do it. I knew it because it was going to be a little bit later today. We ended up going out for breakfast, which was really nice, because we've both been working like mad people for the last, I don't even know how many months. We haven't had time off in a very long time between the truck and the work, and my husband's planning like multi-million-dollar shutdowns at the facility that he works at, and there's no pressure there, right? It's just multi-millions of dollars. So yeah, there's no stress. And then you'll learn about my shipping adventures here in a minute, because that's always fun. And hopefully that helps some people navigate things or learn how to maybe work around things, because it's really easy to see things as roadblocks, and then I've done that mentally myself, and I'm learning to learn to I am needing more coffee. This little baby coffee I got from the restaurant is not enough. I'm used to like my big Lizzie mugs. To learn how to treat them more like stones in the river's path versus dams, because it very mentally, it makes a huge difference to visualize it that way. For me, at least. Maybe. Take it if you like it. Leave the rest. Jody. Hello, Jody. How's it going? Karen. Hi, Karen. Yeah, so that's kind of the plan. Briar did announce their club stuff, so we'll go over some of that stuff. I think I did last week, but we will go over it briefly again, I guess. I'm so confused. It's all good. Let's do studio updates right now. So I had a awesome art hangout with the club members. There's usually a good turnout, which is kind of fun. Everybody works on their stuff, and we all chat about models and life and the rest of it. And it's a good opportunity to ask questions if you have questions of me. And it's just kind of fun in general. And I ended up working on a little fun thing that they got to see while they were there. So started this guy from scratch. This is a little snow pony, which was an idea that came up in our chat here during one of the lives. And he is glittery, which you can see really good in this lighting. Oh, what have I done? Excellent. I will have to remember how to do the lighting. I need to set up a permanent like streaming area, because this is my working area. I have a hard time switching things up. So I need like a streaming spot and a painting spot and a sculpting spot. But right now this is all of them. So then I have to change the setup, and then it doesn't ever reset up the same way. But this works really well. So I'm going to try and remember how to do it. So anyways, it's polymer clay. It's just a Sculpey that has, I can't remember what it's called, but white with little glitters in it. And it makes it look like sparkly snow. So yes, snow pony. Amy, snow pony. She was the one that started it. So there's that. Super, super cute. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I needed to do something that wasn't the typical. General studio updates. The masters for the Little Jug Life and Gabriel are both stuck at the border with a whole bunch of tariff challenges. I guess there's been a whole bunch of people that have been trying to ship goods that were made in China that are being classified as made in Canada, which is causing problems. They are looking for illicit substances that are crossing the border, hidden under these things too. That is also causing challenges. The government shutdown on the US side and all the border stuff is causing challenges. I guess we assigned a whole bunch more border agents being Canada down to the border. And that's to assess things coming the other way. I would assume that the same is probably happening from the US side. My husband's bringing in the biggest box. He went out to buy a monitor for his computer, and I'm not even kidding you. It is longer than my arm span. I just saw him walk this way. Anyway, it's for his spreadsheets, so he can manage the millions of dollars. Crazy times. Anyway, that's very distracting. So between all the illicit substances they're trying to find, that things are being mislabeled, things are being misvalued. So it's caused a whole bunch of problems. They're now having to have extra documentation for things crossing the border. All of the Medallion Club shipments and the two masters are stopped and have been for almost 2 weeks now at the border. I have been in touch with all the club members to let them know that, and I'm working to find alternatives to the current shipper that I use, just to see if there's something that's better. They've been super reliable for the last 7 years that I've used them. So this was kind of an unexpected thing. Normally, if there's delays, they're in touch. If there's extra requirements, they're in touch. But they had expanded their operations quite substantially recently to all over Canada. And that makes the whole thing a lot clunkier. So them now trying to institute all of these new documentation things, it is very hard on them. Whereas bigger companies that have been bigger for longer are easier able to manage things. So it does need blue eyes. Perfect for the little snow pony. I got distracted by the chat. Okay, focus. And so that makes it a little harder for them, DYK, the shipper that I use, because they take boxes from Canada. They transport them to the border like FedEx or UPS would do. They do the border clearance and the customs clearance themselves through their own broker there, and then cross the border. And that avoids the larger brokerage fees of UPS and FedEx, while still keeping prices more reasonable. Because once you start going into UPS and FedEx and DHL and things like that, your prices skyrocket, which isn't really affordable for something like the Medallion Club where the margins aren't super big. So yeah, fun times. It's always fun. It's key. And it's that could be a roadblock. I could be like, oh, I can't ship anything ever and shut it all down and my brain shuts down. But I'm doing the river thing. So, okay, that is a challenge. What are my options? I could do FedEx, DHL, whatever. I could use Chit Chats. I could use Stallion Express, which is another kind of thing like DYK. So I'm looking into the options. I have a couple of methods to test to see how they work. And then depending on how DYK comes out of this, because they just sent the notification this morning that all of their new paperwork stuff should be in place. It does sound like some people are having challenges with that because they didn't post any tutorials as to what they require. They think that it's very straightforward. So it could be a little bumpy. And this, because it's such a changing thing with the tariffs and Canada negotiations with the US, it's probably going to be rocky for a bit. So I'm going to try and find the best way through this that is both cost effective, time effective, and manageable for my sanity, because that's also a factor. I've spent so much time doing, like, you guys wouldn't even imagine the stuff I have to do in the background with all the macros for Excel, for importing things from one thing, changing it over to the different template for the next, especially if you're shipping a whole bunch of boxes. It makes a huge difference. And that border crossing for me being outside of the US is a pain in the butt that normally you wouldn't have to deal with. Once the masters for little Jug Life, the stablemate Juggy, and Gabriel make it across to the Alps, then I won't have to deal with that because it's shipping from within the USA, which is the primary customer base that I have. Most of the people that buy off my website are from the US, which is also part of the whole point of this, I think, is like the world relies on the US customer base and we might need to, work something out that way. So bear with me, and I appreciate all the patience and the emails back that you guys have sent saying that you understand, and I'm weathering it the best I can, as fast as I can, while managing a whole bunch of other stuff. I did plan on being a little bit further ahead with content that I'm posting, but this has been all encompassing. I have not stopped the admin side for 2 weeks trying to figure this stuff out, because it's applying for CUSMA clearance, and which is the US, well, technically the Canadian side of the Canada, US, Mexico agreement. So it's CUSMA in Canada, it's UMSCA in the US, and it's Mexico first. So MCA something in Mexico. So yay. Whoa. Crazy. Anyway, we are weathering it the best we can. I'm learning once that momentum gets jammed in something, it's really hard. So I'm trying to work around. I am programming in the background a lot of automations and macros and things like that make the importing easier, but it does take a little bit longer. So a lot of this stuff is really time intensive on the front end, and hopefully will be less than time intensive on the back end. And then to wrap it all up, PayPal is also not sending my invoices appropriately. So if you are not getting your invoices, please let me know. I am switching my systems to include in the emails that I send you guys your invoice number. And each item is broken out individually for invoicing and for emailing. It's just the only way my system can do it right now. And my brain can do it right now, because combining is a whole nother level of programming that, anyway, I don't have admin help. So it is that. And so this will let me do things this way. So it has the invoice number, and it will also contain a hyperlink or a link URL, depending on what your email provider is, because some hotlink it, some don't, to your invoice directly. So that will allow you to go right to it. And then PayPal also sent the invoices out randomly because it was just being a dink. So yay, PayPal. I might have to look into an alternative to PayPal too. We'll see. I do have Square, but it makes you convert it over to Canadian, which gets confusing and is a whole other level of insanity. So yay, I should just move to the States, right? What state would I fit into, do you think? If you could like place me, I'm curious. In the chat, tell me what state. Because it might end up being a thing at some point. It would just make life so much easier. Anyway, that has been my life in the studio. I haven't been able to do really any more new work. I am working on a couple of sticker designs for you guys and a new medallion design for you. Those are the People's Choice sticker and medallion for next month, and then the new sticker for this month, which I got to hustle on because I'm running out of time to get that sucker ordered. So I will finish all those things. I guess that makes it November because it's my birthday. Why not do the fancy things for my birthday? It's the People's Choice month. It'll be my birthday month, and it will be incredible. Incredible. So I'm going to leave it with that. Other studio stuff. You can't just tell me to move to, well, you could just tell me to move to your state. I'm thinking like where I would fit in. I'm getting Pennsylvania, Florida. Dude, live next to me, Katie says. Niagara Falls, New York. That's almost Canada. We've been to Niagara Falls. That's actually where my in-laws are kind of not far from, in just north-ish of Toronto. So we drove down. It's really easy. Really pretty too. Those falls are really nice. Ohio is closer to BrioFest. I could just move to Kentucky and then be like, ta-da! But I don't know if I would fit in Kentucky. I don't do the white gravy thing. I'm more of a gravy thing because we put gravy on our poutine. You could do like a white gravy poutine. That would be a thing, maybe. I don't know. Pennsylvania. We have more votes for Pennsylvania. Took photos of the Peace Bridge. We have a Peace Bridge in Calgary too. Not the same thing. Katie says I have a stockpile of hard maple candy and chewable coffee. Morning, Brenda. And Jody, hi. Is Canada Post in negotiations? So Canada Post is not in negotiations. They are still striking, but they are on rotating strikes, and that means the system is unreliable, with Canada Post union threatening to basically strike at any point. So they could shut everything down and the whole company could go belly up. So I'm a little hesitant to ship anything that way or have anything shipped that way. We're still holding off. And the government is starting to think about getting involved and forcing the union back. And there's a lot of talk that the union's basically going to say, go pound salt. And our teachers union is also striking. And we just had our pilot strike. And oh my goodness, the whole world. See, this is why the topic is very relevant for today. Is crazy. So yeah, no Canada Post for now. The only thing I'm comfortable sending Canada Post right now is letter mail. Because if I lose a sticker, we can replace it. But other than that, it seems like Chit Chats has been a very good option. The couple packages that have arrived that way, people have really liked. So that might be the way I go. It would eliminate PO boxes, which is a whole other thing. Anyway, that's a whole other layer to the thing. Can't get mail, but it's fine. Unless it has duties. And like every other generic carrier is like $35, $40 duty. Doesn't matter what you send. It's just ridiculous. So anyway, hi, Kim. Thank you. I know you guys are patient and I very much appreciate it because I wouldn't be able to do this without you guys. And if you're like, hey, don't buy from the crazy Canadian because she's having all these challenges, it would be very, very sad and it would not be a good day. So I appreciate you guys being very patient. And I am working very hard to work around things. We have Sheets and Wawa. I understand what Wawa is, but what's a Sheets? Do you have Trader Joe's? I've heard that is a thing. Katie's trying really hard. Hi, Pam. Thank you for joining on YouTube. You guys can also watch this on YouTube. The streams are recorded and saved there. They delete off of Facebook after a while. I would also appreciate if you like the stream, and commenting is always definitely helpful to the algorithms and lets people see this. And, you know, because everybody needs to see me blather on about whatever. That's why I'm trying to get back to the topic, so we have a topic. We can focus. Sheets is similar to Wawa, but better. Ooh, very nice. Hi, Sarah. Welcome. So yeah, holy Hannah, my brain is like schizoid because there's so many things that apparently I need to experience in the States, like sheets. We actually just bought new linen sheets, which are amazing, and a nice duvet to replace our old duvet that is sad. Rooters, sheets, and Wawa. There's so many, and Bucky's. So many things I need to try. And food. I'm like a food thing. So maybe I just need to go state to state, try all the food, and then settle where the food is best. That'll be my deciding factor. Where is the food the most delicious? All right. I'm totally getting off topic here. That is basically the updates for the studio. I do have a little bit of a teaser. Within the next 2 months, there's an exciting announcement coming that I will be able to share more with you about soon. That is about all I can say, but I can get you all hyped up and excited because I am. I'm so excited. So excited. So hard to keep secrets. You guys have no idea how hard that is on my brain. It like takes up probably 50% of my processing power. It's like, what am I allowed to say? What am I not allowed to say? What can I spoil now? What can't I spoil just yet? I have to build up the anticipation, right? The anticipation. We got to do it. Because the spaces are just as important as the actual words and things. So yeah, exciting. I'm excited. You should be excited. Be excited. It's going to be delicious. All right. Now, on to Briar News before I get totally distracted. We have Briar News. There is, let me pop this up here. And I'm going to ignore the chat for a minute because if I don't ignore the chat, then I'm going to get very distracted. Briar did post a whole bunch of new stuff on their site. Let's see if I can fix the, oh no. Let's see. Less. There we go. All right. So this is the stuff from the Briar website that they've posted. They do have a new bag that has Mojave on the side of it. So I will require this for my Fireheart memorabilia collection because he is the first baby. So there is like extra, yeah. They basically got me as a customer for life, which probably is half of their plan. They're sneaky like that. What else do they have on their website? So there's a new pony pouch, which is really, really, really cute. Check this guy out. It is the Desert Night design, which is adorable. We have Hyperion, the 2025 Freedom Series Unicorn. There is Sylvan, the winter decorator with all of the little animals, does jumping and birds flying. Bobcat. I think that's a squirrel on his bum. Another pony pouch. This one's super cute. I really like their logo thing, and it reminds me of those vintage letter stamp, passport stamp kind of feel and vibe, and it's a whole bunch of different logos. So I like the Briars doing the pony pouches. It's kind of fun that you can have a Briar themed one. Now, where is the go back thing? Oh, we're not there yet. There is a little Santa Claus plush called Nick, and he's just beardy and wonderful. They should have done like the little drafter with the little mustache. And then a beard. And then he could, I know Santa Claus has the full beard, but come on, it'd be a little draft with the little poof. Still adorable. Then we have our 2025 Pony for Christmas on the Misty mold with a very, very cute little blanket. And let's go into that one because it comes with a cute little box that looks like a little gingerbread box, almost advent calendar in feel. Its name is Cuddles. It is a Tobiano, maybe with some Sabino in there because it crosses the belly there and under the chin. So I would assume Tobiano with Sabino, Flex and Chestnut. Very, very cute. Looks like she's got like a giant black eyeball. Yeah, I don't think there's color in that. So she sees into your soul and she can cuddle it. Very, very cute. Now, we also have, pardon my squidging around, it's a touch screen, so it works. This is the 75th anniversary traditional family gift set designed by Leslie Kaufman for the patterns. I really like the classic barrier, or the classic. the Pam, proud Arab mare. And the baby's very cute. I'm not 100% sold myself on the pattern for the stallion. I think we went over this last time, but he's super cute. Lots of people really like him. He's also not necessarily my favorite mold, but the Pam, there's just something about Pam. What is that movie? There's something about Sally? No, something about Alice. What is that movie? There's something about Mary. That's it. Yeah, there's something about Mary. Something about Pam. Then we have clothing, I think. So this is super cute. This is very Lisa Frank meets Barbie meets Briar adjacent, it feels like. The patterning is unicorn power. It's got a cute little Briar unicorn on there. I would assume Sommer or Kathleen Moody probably did the sketches for that because Kathleen's usually their sketchy person. But Sommer also, I think, does some stuff. It could be somebody else. I don't know. They don't disclose who did the design generally. It does not, in fact, say it. It says only non-chlorine bleach. There's a closer up of the design. Super cute. That is very cute. That is very Barbie, Lisa Frank, My Little Pony Briar. Then we have pants with silhouettes on. Oh, pants with silhouettes on them. I have been marked safe from said pants because they do not contain the fire hearts. I'm trying to limit things. They do have a huck on them though, so there is that. Oh, struggle. Very, very cute. They look very comfy. I've actually heard people say that they're quite comfortable, so that's nice. Then there's sweatpants that say Briar on them in your typical sports adjacent college type font. I don't even know what else to call that. And there was a pay for dish. Boop. And then we had all of the, I'll just do it from the top down because we're already at the top. We have the Arachne Halloween horse, all these guys, new pins, Arachne with glitter. Then this is actually really cute. The fact that they made the little outlines that small. Has anybody got these in hand? Because I'm very curious if the actual outlines are that visible. Like, I don't know if this is just the mock-up or if that's the actual pin and they're coming out like that, because that's super cool. Because you can see Huck in there. You can see a whole bunch of different ponies in there. So that'd be kind of cool. It almost looks like a fire heart in the flank right there. And stock horse with the ponies. There's a Briar Western horse hat. Lanyards with the outlines on them. Again, I really, really like the sketchy bags, and I really like this kind of vintage look. Cash is, I guess, limited edition being retired, so if you want him, make sure to get him. All the advent calendars, there's Unicorn and Friends and Horses, 75th Anniversary Edition Advent, the Christmas Bloom pony. Speaking of that, we should see the Christmas releases for next year coming out soon. Victory Carousel Ornament, that is by our very own Laura Rock Smith. This one is the Shetland pony. Looks like a Sommer piece. I like the little bow. He's very cute. Joy of the Season is super cute. I like the little rearing guy and all of his little swag on. Their typical stirrup ornament. Showman Santa. So we now have a small version of Hamilton. You could buy it. You could take the Santa off. Then you would have a little tiny Hamilton. The resin cast stuff sometimes isn't quite as accurate, so don't have super high expectations, but it would still be a mini Hamilton. Nalu, the water unicorn, is right there. Very cute. That is they did it in resin, but bigger, by Christina Lucas Francis. And then we have Morgan and Friends. That's Kathleen Moody Morgan and the Kylie Morgan with the kitty and the lab. Lexington the racehorse. There's a pin for the Christmas horse, which is super cute. Paint your own ornaments. Holiday trail ride, which is kind of adorable. I like the little setup on the doll. It's quite cute. I like these blown glass ornament boxes as well. They are super cute. Christmas in Bloom holiday mug. The hat is also adorable. Holiday throw. These are really, really fuzzy. We have the Tiger Lily and Firestorm throw currently on the back of the couch, and we use it all the time. It's quite nice. It's not hot enough to be overheating, and it's not cool enough to be too cold, and it's fuzzy. So fuzzy. Love it. Holiday socks with flash on them. Another Briar collegiate. Ha ha ha, I said it. Without a lot of coffee. Only baby coffee. Technically, I had 2 earlier, but it's fine. This is kind of cute. The expressions, so happy, Joe, sad, angry on the Western Horse face. And yeah. Another Western Horse theme. And then this is the Winifred Deluxe pin. Even has little dapples in there. And that is all of them. And then quick overview of Z clubs, but I'll check our comments first. Let's see. Because it takes me a second to see how the chat's doing. Because you guys always have the best time. I like do my Spiely thing, but there's always such a good time happening in chat. Jennifer saying, you need more coffee. I got my Highlander grog from Bears Brothers out of Wisconsin. That sounds intense. I mean, if there's any kind of grog to have, that's the kind of grog, which reminds me of delicious, delicious mead. I'm not a drinker, but I would go to the farmer's market every once in a while, have mead, because it's, I don't know, Viking. Yeah, it's tasty too. Won't go to Buc-ee's. They don't like truckers. But see, people, so much division in this world. We need to find things we can surround ourselves with and circle around like ponies, right? Jennifer says too fluffy for most of Briar's clothing. That's kind of, see, you'd think Briar would do all sizes, but it is hard to manage that for inventory. You almost need to do like a pre-order and then have, or a limited edition, have only so many of the sizes, because it can be hard to predict what you will sell and what you won't. Because some people love some designs and they're like, I don't like that spot, or I don't like that cut, or I don't like that color, right? He says, oh my God, the Santa plush. I'm trying really. He sees into your soul, but and she can cuddle it. I could use a soul cuddle. We could all use a soul cuddle. We'll just cuddle. Soul cuddles. We'll send Nash for soul cuddles. He's not really like the best with the cuddly thing because I think he knows he's huge, and he has touchy issues. He likes being touched, like touch my bum, but not always my face. It's very like space oriented, which I respect. I'm the same way. Carlos, model horses still exist. I'm surprised nowadays that this new generation doesn't like to collect anything, especially figurines. Good for you for surviving. I participated in a Kentucky show many years ago. Our Briar is still in business. They are indeed, Carlos. They are doing very well. They do a big, probably multi-million-dollar event in Kentucky every year, and the hobby thrives. It's a little, everything's on the downturn right now a little bit, but there's a lot of artists that do their own independent stuff attached, like myself. I do work for them. And other companies, and I also produce my own resins and get them translated into like China and all sorts of really cool stuff. So actually, yeah, it's so fun. So yeah, it's definitely a cool rabbit hole to jump down for sculptors and stuff, because especially with the new emerging digital technology, there's a whole bunch of other avenues for it, and people make tack and dioramas and dolls, and we'll talk about more of that in a second. Karen says, I usually buy pins for my handicap friend, but we haven't bought the new ones. I like pins. I have a whole pin board, but I've run out of space. So now I have to figure out how to upgrade my pin board and then go from there. So yeah. Teal horses. No, that's totally not your thing, Kinsey. I don't know why you would love teal horses. So yeah, let's go into the club stuff. So speaking of Briar, this is some of their offerings for their collector club. You need to be part of the collector club to have access to their collectors club releases, workshops, and events, as well as their other clubs. So they have Premier Club, which is a new sculpture every 3 times a year, 4 if you count the stablemate, depending on if it's new or not. And those are kind of the premiere of whatever artists are working in the hobby. Usually they pick from people that are doing resins. And like myself and other people, we have lots of people like Sarah Mink and Jen Scott, and you name it, there's tons, Kelly Seeley. And yeah, you can sign up for the Deluxe Collector Club, which gets you access to the pin and the stablemate that they're offering for that year. So in this case, it is the Zara shown here. Now we're seeing it in matte and glossy. I just noticed that. So there's matte, there's glossy. So that could be a 50-50 split. And then there's the pin. So it is more obviously for the 2025-2026 membership. They have just the 2026, so $10 more. And then you'll get access to the Christmas specials and all that. Plus the access to buy this lovely drafter, who will be a Collector Club exclusive. You have to be in the Collectors Club to buy it. And then all of their other clubs. This page shows you all the things that come with it. This is their new sculpt for the Premier Club. Does look like a Mariah paint job, Mariah Vogue. I'm not sure. Nobody's confirmed it yet, nor have they confirmed the sculptor, but my best guesses are Mariah for the paint job and Jen Scott for the digital sculpture. And it is a cantering, galloping, technically, draft. And super cool. It's nice to see an action draft pose on a base, because I know Breyer doesn't like doing bases. Vintage Club, which they haven't released what's coming for it. They did have the Foundation Stallion, I believe, as their logo for this year. And then Stablemate is a customized version of their G3 draft with cute little braids, cute little braided tail, and all the little bobbins. Anyway, that is what Breyer's up to. So, what else did we have that was new and exciting? They haven't really released anything else that I'm aware of. We still haven't seen the mule in person yet. That is the last Premier Club release. That is Winifred. Comes in normally this pen gray chestnut reversed apple, or the gray pinto. Now that my camera decided to wander off sideways, or the gray pinto. That is also an option. That is going to be a piece 1 of 75, I believe, which will be rare and expensive to find on the secondary market or to sell if you so choose. So that is the rundown of the Breyer stuff. And I will fix my little reddish shirt. Make it nice. All right, let's check in with the chat. Am I missing anything? Remind me if I'm missing something, because there's been a lot of stuff that have been going on. We should be seeing the end of the month is when the Canadian event for Breyer's coming up. So they'll have all their models and stuff. And I don't think they've announced who those will be yet. So it'll be you show up and yay. So nobody knows. So hyped for the club releases, says Lorna. I know, it's going to be so cool. It's very exciting to see all the new stuff that they're offering and to see who's doing work for them. It's nice to see new people used too. So we don't know. It's like Christmas. I like it. It's Gambler's Choice. Oh, I didn't read that. That's cool. Good to know. So 50-50 split Gambler's Choice. Katie, hoping for a big booty quarter horse. That would be nice. I like quarter horses. I like big butts and hairy things. So that would be very perfect. And little cheeky ponies and long ears. I don't know. I'm pretty easy to please. Anyway, all right. That catches me up with the chat. So on to our topic. Now that we have covered the things. So like I was saying before when we first started the stream, even though it's been almost an hour. Oh my goodness. Well, 45 minutes. So I will try not to wax philosophical for too long. But the world being heavy has a massive impact on me as an artist, and all the negative things that happen around me on social media, in the hobby, in my life, in my relationships with my friends. So this isn't just political spectrum specific. Like I said, we don't tend to delve into the politics here because I think this is a politic-free space, and as it should be, because we can come together, and there's so few places right now in the world where we can just kind of come together over things we like without bleeping fighting, right? Because it just gets so divisive and so nasty. I think focusing on the things that we share in common versus the things that divide us it's a better use of our time. It is a better cultivator of our sanity, because all that stuff has a massive impact. And the more you delve into it and divide, the more massive it's going to have an impact on your own brain as well as all the people around you. So hopefully some of this stuff will help with managing all of that, because it has an impact, especially creatives. We are extra sensitive, which is why we make the things, right? I produce the little ponies because my brain says I have to do the thing and make the ponies, right? So I have to find ways around it, because if I don't create, I don't have sanity. And especially when the world's crazy, it's when the world is absolutely cray-cray. That is when you need the sanities the most. So, but it's also the time when it's hardest to sometimes do that, because it affects us, right? So ways that we can, ways that I specifically, because I can't speak for everybody. Some of these things will work for some of you, some of them won't. You will also have your own. So if you have tips, put them in the chat too, and I will read them out, because we're here as a community to help foster each other and the goodness that is here. So recharging when you have creative block and when you have the creative blues, they kind of relate, which is why we're kind of coming at it from a weird direction. I think that there's a lot going on, and it helps to be able to separate out that stuff. One of the things that works for me is taking time to do the thing, whether I want to or not, because I know that that will help my sanity, and I know that I need it for my art. And as a full-time artist, I don't really have a choice at the end of the day, because if I don't create and I don't produce, I don't eat. I don't pay the bills. And our power bills sometimes are like $800 a month. It's ridiculous. So yeah, it's crazy. And I'm sure we can get on to all the food is costing $5 million. Gas is costing $5 million. It's $17 million a month for mortgage and rent. It's insane, right? So the Pomodoro technique was one that really resonates with me. I have a fancy little like ADHD timer. So I set my little colored timer. Oh, I went past it. To like 20 minutes. And the Pomodoro technique is you take that 20 minutes and this little timer will keep ticking. It is ticking. Does it have batteries? I haven't used it in a couple weeks because I'm actually getting pretty good at this myself now that I've used this for long enough. So I set this for, if I have 20 minutes, that's ideal, because that's usually scientifically the amount of time that you need to spend in something to actually get that wheel of momentum going. So I'll set the timer, and it's very visual. So I can look at it really easily and go, lots of time left, not a lot of time left. The caveman brain or cavewoman brain sees this and goes, I get it, right? So this is really helpful. It was $10 maybe on Amazon. And you can, I think that they had other colors other than blue, but I find this really helpful. And it goes, and when it gets to the thing, is it gonna make the sound? We'll leave it for a second and let it make the sound, but like super visual, right? I really like it. And that gets you into the thing. So just start on the task, scribble on paper. You don't have to even draw a thing. Scribble on paper or paint something crazy. You can focus on things that don't mean a lot to you. And then that usually will, as long as you get that blood flowing and that creative, see? Oh no, oven's done. It's not the most pleasant little ring, but it works, right? And I love the visual component. So you just get the creative juices flowing, you get the wheel of momentum going, and that alone will make a huge difference. Because usually when you start, at least for me, I start and I don't want to stop, and I stop and I don't want to start. So that helps with that. It's like non-negotiable. We're doing the thing. It's on my list. I got to do the thing. Also acknowledging that the feelings are really heavy and the world is really heavy, and not just pretending like it doesn't exist and disassociating. It's very hard. Trust me. The disassociation is strong with this one. Maybe for you too. So yeah, that's why part of the reason why I like the horses. I watched watched the shows and the movies and pretended to be the ponies and pretended to have all the world in my head and wrote stories and read books and did art to avoid the world. So now I'm trying to integrate the two, and I can have the world, transmute the world, and use that magical creative alchemy to transform it into something cute that has benefit to the world, that makes somebody else happy for a minute. Hopefully that has value, because I appreciate it in others. So yeah, it's the best I could do. Here is my little humble offering of pony art to the universe. So in acknowledging that the world is heavy, because the more you try and suppress something, the more it wants to push back. It's that like equal, what is that science phrase? Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So if you push it away, it will push back, right? So acknowledging it, a lot of times naming it, being like, I feel terrified. The world is scary. Saying those things out loud actually make a massive difference. And it just acknowledges it. And because you've acknowledged it, your brain goes, oh, she knows. Okay, we can use that processing power for something else. Because it's like, hey, scary, afraid. Oh my God, what's happening? Do something, right? If you're like, I'm scared, it goes, oh, she knows, right? I'm angry, I'm frustrated, I'm filled with insurmountable rage. I am grateful, I am happy, I am enjoying thoroughly my coffee that is now cold. It's so small. See, even appreciating the smallness of it, because you can transmute. Did you see what I did there? I transmuted it. So you can take those feelings, acknowledge them, and also learn to do that in general in your day and say, I am so appreciative of the fact I can take a little blob of clay and make something cute that brings me joy and other people joy out of that thing and those emotions, right? I am so appreciative of my tiny, cute little coffee. I am appreciative of the fact I've got this big screen that I can see myself on, and that I have people that enjoy me blathering on about whatever. It's kind of cool. Stuff like that. Because the more you label things in general in your life like that, naming those emotions, naming those feelings, naming the thing, the less power they will have over you, and the more you'll be able to say things you appreciate and things you need. Like, I need a vacation. It'll happen eventually, but acknowledging that instead of keeping it inside in the little, because I have a hard time speaking my needs as well. So the more you communicate the things you're feeling, the more it will actually expand into other parts of life. And I also do think that having that gratitude for things in life is also really appreciative. So you can say, I'm feeling really scared right now, and I'm feeling really stressed right now, and I'm feeling very uncertain that the world is uncertainty. I don't know what direction this is going to go. And also at the same time, matching that with, I am also grateful, because you say, but that kind of negates what you said before. So saying, I am also feeling grateful, and try and add some positives in there. I'm so bad about not always putting the positives in there. And when something comes up, I think of all the ways it could go wrong. So I try to refocus it on the ways that things can go right. And you can change that into when you're doing the art and having the creative block. It sometimes comes up as, I feel worthless. I don't feel talented. I don't feel like I'm insecure about what the future is going to be for my art, especially with the hobby and the economy being so hard to deal with right now. You can transmute those things, acknowledge that, and say, and I'm grateful that I have the ability to do art, or I have the time to do these creative things, or that there's a community around me willing to help if I get stuck, like the Nanaimo community, like the ICE challenge, the ICEE, which is unfortunately named in current circumstances, but support them nonetheless, because it's international equine whatever direction, international customizing equine event, I think, for customizing horses. And just the more you work on it, and that transmutation, and even that acknowledging, because sometimes it's hard enough even to say, I feel scared, right? So start where you're at. You don't have to be perfect at it, and don't beat yourself up for it. Um, as I rant on with my thing. I have notes, so let me bring up my notes. So baby steps as well. So using the Pomodoro thing can be helpful in getting yourself out of that once you've acknowledged the feelings. Taking a baby step, saying, okay, today I don't feel like doing art at all, or being creative at all, or doing the thing that recharges you at all. Because this is not just about doing painting on model horses or customizing or sculpting. It applies to everything. Pick something you enjoy. Like last time we had talked about someone having a thing that they really wanted to do that recharged them, that they like go in your bathtub and read a book and take a time for yourself, right? 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. Go out to the barn, go out for a drive in the wilderness, whatever recharges you. This applies for that too, because sometimes it's hard to take that time. And set like a small thing, like, okay, it'll be 5 minutes. I'm going to give myself 15 minutes to scribble, or like the smaller and more humiliatingly tiny the steps, the more likely you are to actually follow them, because your brain will go, okay, well, I could just scribble on a page for 5 minutes, or I could actually draw a thing, because usually that's how the wheel of momentum works. Or I could just walk out of my house and down the street and back, or I could go around the block, right? Because you're so embarrassed by the idea that, okay, 2 steps out of my door, putting on my shoes, like, well, yeah, I can do more, right? You want to pick whatever step in your brain tells you that. Like, yeah, but I could do more, right? That's what you're looking for. You're looking for that edge where the wheel of momentum will kind of roll from there. Like, I will put on my shoes, but I'm going to walk out of the house. I will bring out the horses and the art supplies. They're probably gonna paint something, or I'm gonna sculpt on something, or I will do the armature for the hair and I'll probably put some epoxy on it, right? You want that tipping point. So you'll be able to find and start to get really sensitive to what that feeling is. And then you can better know yourself and better know, like, you want to almost offend yourself, if that makes sense. Like, this is such a small step, it's almost offensive, right? Do that, because that will force the movement. Life is all about baby steps, Allison, and welcome, by the way. So that changing up your scenery, moving your furniture around, it actually disengages your brain and makes you pay attention more, which will make you do things differently. You won't get stuck in the same loop, because the loop requires everything to be the same, because your brain goes, something's different. What else has changed, right? So there's that. Going to a coffee shop to do art can be really nice. Going and doing a studio hack or hangout and getting together with a couple of buddies and making art, or doing it through Zoom or Google Meets or FaceTime or Facebook Messenger, whatever your choice is. You can go hang out, or the club art hangouts, because they're super fun. And then even if you're not doing art, sometimes being around people that are kind of gets that wheel going. Because your baby step could be, I need to think about it for 5 minutes today. And that's as far as you get. And that's great. If that was more than yesterday, that's all you're looking for, is little baby steps. And then by the time you realize it, you'll be way over there. You'll be like, how did I have a whole bunch of horses with Briar and these awesome projects and like Clinky Juggernaut and things that people like? You just, one day you arrive and you like look around and you're like, what's going on? It's cool. So along with changing the scenery and where you're doing the thing or the things around you, is try something new, because you can forgive yourself for being bad at it if you try something new. So that's kind of a little shifty secret. So go make tack, because it's different and it's new and it's engaging and you're allowed to be a beginner. Whereas I think it's hard to come at something that you think you should be good at and struggle. So just do something like finger paint ponies. Go, I don't know, whatever you think will work that gets you inspired, or if there's some kind of art that you're scrolling through Facebook or Pinterest or Instagram, find something that's really neat. Be like, oh, maybe today I'm going to make one of these crazy puzzles with the animal pieces and buy one of those and put them together, because that's creative too. Just switch things up. That's the key. Do something different. And with the model horse hobby, there's so many different areas you can engage in that you can learn something new. You can do tack. You can do dolls. Speaking of that, there's a doll making challenge on right now. Little Rider doll. Hold on. The Little Rider doll. Stop your screen sharing. It was already thinking of doing that. There you go. Little Rider doll challenge. So this is that you get a saddle pad, you take the saddle pad, it's color coded, you make you have to provide your own doll, but you make all the costume for it and you make a set that goes together. And then at the end, everybody shows their sets. And I don't know if they do giveaways and stuff. I think they might, but I can't confirm or deny because I don't know 100%. Because I wasn't prepared for that. But I just noticed it the other day that they're actually doing it till the end of the month. You can sign up, and then you don't start it until like March. So you have time to figure out your colors and to get the saddle pads, because that was an issue before with all the shipping issues and more shipping issues now. And find the fabrics, all the rest of it, if you need to source a doll, that sort of thing. So try something like that. You could try building a barn. You could do dioramas. You could do anything. There's so many different niches within the hobby that allow you to do props or performance setups or even showing for the first time, or there's just so much. Or you could branch out into like little miniature Warhammer type stuff or D&D figures, paint something different. Just, it's creatives. We need juices, and those juices aren't always found in that same little thing, right? You look at your same little thing every day and you're like, oh, this is boring. Okay. I don't want to paint another bay horse. I don't want to sculpt another piece of hair. It's never going to happen. But we get in ruts, and that's how we get ourselves out of the ruts, is by switching it up. Taking pictures also. Photography is its whole other adventure. That's a great point, Allison. She's saying Jackie Fernandez has a photo show going on currently from Las Vegas with a group of amazing people. I do believe it's just national, though, this time. I will have to look that up. Karen says, I'm feeling better just from your live feed. Oh, thank you. Glad it's helpful. I prattle on sometimes, and I don't always take what you like and leave the rest, right? Karen's saying, I was feeling sorry for myself due to the broken leg. Gonna try some drawing, which I haven't done over a year. I can sit here and throw some paint on a canvas. There's so many things you can do. Or get one of those diamond paintings, or I don't know, so many things. I love to people watch if I can't get myself motivated. I'd like to see others in their zone. Yeah, so watching tutorials and different things on YouTube, I really enjoy. It really recharges me and gets my brain thinking about different ways that I can translate that into what I do in some way. It's kind of cool. Amy says, some days I just need to follow what's pulling me that day, and it might be a completely different direction, and that's okay. Let yourself take the day. That's also good. Knowing when you need the break and to not push yourself is also good, because going nonstop without breaks is not always the healthiest thing. Amy says, I have some major art block happening, mostly because I have a lot going on around me and deadlines to meet. For me, I need to make a calendar and literally put sculpt and paint on it. I do too. It's not just you. Especially when everything's just cleaning and mold making and casting and shipping and admin, and there's no art time in there. I've gone months without art, and it's very hard to fit in sometimes. So I put those things on my calendar with other things for no pressure list that I can pick from. I make myself do 5 minutes, and if I'm just not feeling it, I find something else to do. Do I task hop on a lot of days? Absolutely, that's okay. But after 5 minutes, sometimes it turns into several hours. Yeah, once you get that wheel of momentum going, it's awesome. I don't actually have the next day for the next club art hangout set just yet. I do need to do that because we're running out of days for the month. I have something on Wednesday evening, so it'll probably be next weekend, most likely. And I have a event on the weekend, so I need to figure out what that looks like and when my husband has off, because he hasn't had any days off and we haven't been able to spend time together either, and figure that out. So hopefully that, if not, last opportunity will kind of be Wednesday the 29th. But I will keep you guys in the loop and let you know what kind of works, because I think that's the Briar event too. So, well, so many things. I hit myself in the face. And then my calendar won't let me put it away. Why will you not go away? Hide. Oh, they moved things. I hate. Okay, now the calendar won't leave. Anyway, what else did I have on my list? So community and support, that kind of plays into talk to a friend, hang out with other people that are doing art, go just chat about models for a minute or life or whatever. That'll help sometimes recharge you or bring out the blues, or not bring out the blues, get rid of the blues. And really delving into those things and getting to know yourself and knowing what really recharges you is helpful. A lot of times music too can really alter our state and put you in a mood to do the arty thing, or even just to dance around and move your body, which can sometimes shake out the things. There's the stupid stuff like you can smile and pretend to be the thing, and the more you smile or do like laugh yoga, the more it actually infuses into your body. And like watching people that are happy and people that are in the zone, like Allison says, really helps, because if all you're watching is news and negative people and like people complaining and screaming on the internet, then your being is going to absorb that too, and that's what you're going to want to reflect, because that's what you like co-regulate, right? So you're going to regulate to that. Be very careful what you're inputting and being around. The people around you, the media around you, the information around you. If you're like seeking out all the drama, it's going to bring you to its level. So just be mindful about that. Yeah. And then don't be afraid to branch out into other art forms and look at people that are doing different techniques, or go buy a new art like paintbrush, or go buy yourself something nice, like a new resin to paint or a pretty pony. Sometimes we just need to do nice things for ourselves because we're kind of last on the list a lot of the time. And that's a huge component. So try new things, be around awesome people, and make sure you are curating like you would in your life, in your garden. Curate the things around you, because you're gonna come to that level. Be very careful. I put myself in situations where I've been around people that caused me to bully other people. And you guys know me, that's not really my character. I can be a little like harsh on some of my edges, but bullying really isn't in my being. But they made me bully because that's just who I surrounded myself with, and I became negative and I was a bully. And I had to make a lot of apologies for that because it did not bring out my best self. And it's unfortunate to see people that do that to others around them. So be very careful about what you surround yourself with and fill yourself with, because like food and water, the things that we intake into our bodies and our brains are important. I always feel just needing my little soapbox. Dot painting is also fun. Yes, I've seen people do that. Or like the crystal rhinestones, that's so time intensive, but they sparkle. Ah. Okay. Laura Rock Smith. Hi, welcome. Why I follow some more model horse artists, fresh ideas and creativeness. And also going and supporting other people in their art can also help rejuvenate your being for doing your own art as well. Plus, put some good juju out in the community. It also, like, if you believe in the karma thing, then giving to others in a non-selfish way. You're not looking for them to give that feedback back to you or be like, oh, you're so amazing too, right? That's not what we're there for. It's the like as pure and clean as you can get that intent, the better it is to just give to give. So you're like, I'm supporting you because I want to support you. I want to see you do well. you're not looking for anything back from that person is really like the cleanest level of juju you can get. Aim for that. But if you fall short, that's okay too. Start where you're at. Jennifer says, I like Baumgartner Restoration on YouTube. I find him relaxing, helpful in unwinding and quieting my brain. Sometimes people have a voice and they have a tonation and they have a way of speaking that just really soothes. Like I've been listening to a lot of blues music. So good. I don't even know why. And it changes all the time. I'm sure you guys can relate. I'm a very eclectic music person. You just find that one thing and my brain's just like, yes, that's yeah, right there. That's the spot. Oh yeah. Laura, I like to paint when I'm stuck at work. Also good use of your time. I used to do that when I was in reception. You'd have things that you'd work on art-wise and drawing and painting. And couldn't bring models in necessarily, but you could like sneak stuff in there or write. I know a lot of people write in their spare time at work. Allison says toxic people, indeed. And some of them disguise themselves very well as charismatic, sparkly beings, and they hide that really well. And they're very attention seeking, but you can kind of tell. There's like people can't hide the underneath very well. There's a point where it comes out, and so be very mindful of actions over words. You'll be able to suss out somebody's character over time, and if they're toxic and healthy, or even if they're just bringing you down in your vibration level, if you believe that. We're just talking generally here. Because it does have an impact on your being. Like somebody can bring you down into depression with them. And you can help also lift people out of it, but you have to be very mindful. Some people just like staying there. They like complaining about everything in life. And they like being the one that is always the sufferer. And that's just, it's a character trait. It's part of, if you've ever heard of the Cartman triangle, there's victim, rescuer, persecutor, and people fall into that codependency thing a lot. And lots of people will go, I'm the victim, when they're not. And then they get a whole bunch of people running in there going, oh, I'm so sorry that you have to go through this. And that person's so mean. That is rescuer and persecutor helping the victim. And it's just all built on a castle of lies. So you will be able to figure it out if you pay attention. And you should, because this is important for your own being, who you surround yourself with. You'll be able to figure it out because people can't hide it. You can't hide your underneath character. It shows through with those little like nasty pieces or the people around them. Yeah, it works. So be very mindful because that toxicness will infect you. It will infect your soul. If I can be made to bully someone, then anybody can, because it's not who I am. So anyway, be careful. That's all I can say. Let's see. Allison says, I actually had a lot of friends who became way too toxic, who was bubbling and energetic and over the top, and she went way over the top, and I had to say, this is not healthy. I'm going to be grateful for the good times. And it's hard to make that call. Like I had to do with the person in my life, the friend that I had. And you have to know where your boundary is and when it's affecting you. And my line was, I don't want to be bullying people, and I don't want to be in a situation where I feel gross every time I'm like, you feel usually good in the moment with the person, but gross afterwards, whether you've gossiped about other people or like been mean, bullying, anything like that, or even just negative in general, like the people that complain about everything. It's very hard to absorb that and not be affected by it. You can sometimes build walls, but sometimes it's nice to just curate the people around you, because a lot of that time, if they're talking about other people and being toxic, it's happening when you're not around too, usually directed in your direction. So, and a lot of times it's covered in that sparkly crust of, it looks really nice or it feels good in the moment to be part of the pack doing the thing. And the mean girl thing and the toxicity has become an issue. And it seems like it's gotten way more stark and way worse. And I don't think we have to be that way. I've tried to avoid that and get out of it myself. So hopefully you can as well, because it's so much better as your being when you don't have to be dragged down by that. And that affects your ability to do art and be creative and not be as sensitive to the crazy of the world if you are not constantly fighting off that energy level or being dragged down by it. So very good points. And it is, like I was saying, a hard call to remove friends and people from your life, but those are healthy boundaries, and everybody needs to have those healthy boundaries. And I always put out there that if the person is willing to be within what I need as a being, which is fair for me to ask, then they can come back and re-engage. But there are limits to what you can tolerate as a human. And that is taken a long time for me to learn is not selfish. It is something that is required for me to exist and be happy and healthy and mentally healthy, because I struggle with my own depression and anxiety too. So, and then my art suffers. And you can see it usually in an artist when it kind of creeps out in their art, or their care starts to drain away, and you can see their art starting to lose that sparkle. Not always literally, I guess, but like you can see it. You know what I'm talking about. You can see it. Our art is us. It's just, you can't separate it. Amy says, use the broken paint containers and find a paintbrush and use it to paint silly horse heads over things. You could just do murals, finger paintings on the floor. It would be amazing. Make it like the Clarion carpet. Jody, seeing the results of his work is so satisfying. So that's for, where did Jody put it? It's in the comments. Anyway. All right. Jody says Japanese artist Caroism. So CHR, here I can put it on thing. CHROISM on TikTok is so good. So yeah, if you have a favorite, definitely pop it into the chat, because people will go back and look at these things. A lot of times the chat happens on Facebook. So if you're on YouTube and you would like to see what the chat has done, you see the record of our crazy. You can check it out on Facebook too. Baumgartner. Da, 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 da. There's a whole bunch that I like too. I really like Jazza. He's just so fun. And then there's all sorts of, I can't even think of them off the top of my head, but I have a whole eclectic mix of people that do like woodworking and people that do resin stuff. And there's a guy that does digital art called Lucid Pixel, and he waxes philosophical about all these different topics. And you can just listen to him while you're going to sleep or while you're making art. It's so fun. And I know some people just listen to me prattle on as they're doing their art thing. So it's crazy. Anyway, so yeah, that would be kind of my soapbox talk on how to get yourself out of those artistic blues and the creative block. There's hopefully a whole bunch of little techniques and tricks you can use there, and those apply, like I said, to generic things in life and the world. You don't have to necessarily be an artist per se to use some of these techniques in different ways. If it's setting the Pomodoro and doing 10 minutes of reading or listening to your favorite music, or there's just so many ways to help curate your life, and you'll eventually start to build this resiliency, and crazy things can happen and you don't go as quickly. You start to be able to ride out these peaks and valleys a little bit better. And I've used art to help myself kind of weather things in life. Cancer, the loss of my grandmother, who was like my mother, dealing with having to cut my own family out of my life because of their own toxicity. We've talked about it a little bit last stream, kind of what I went through. And there's so many things in life that are so hard to deal with, whether it's debt or catastrophe or the world, that investing in yourself in that resiliency will help, and curating that stuff around you will make your life what you're hoping it to be. You can curate the people around you to help give you the life that you want. If you want to be positive, then you have to be around people that are positive, and not toxic positive, like good positive, reality check positive. Sometimes that doesn't feel nice, but you can be around people that that's not where their being wants to sit, or they're not making you bully people. They're not like making you focus on the drama and being all nasty, mean girly. I never understood the people that they idolize the mean girls, and they didn't take the lesson from the movie that the head mean girl gets hit by like all bad things happen to them at the end of the movie. That's karma. It's not something to look up to and try to be. You want to be good. That was the lesson of the movie. I don't. Can you explain to me how that works? Because it doesn't work in my head at all. 110%. And maybe I'm built out of different stuff, or I am dumb, perhaps, and I don't get the draw. I understand how good it can feel to be sucked into that in the moment and feel powerful and hurt other people, but it never feels good forever, and it never ends well. So yeah, I don't know. But anyway, or like there's people that have said, "Oh, openly online, I like being toxic and I want to be more toxic to combat the toxic of the world." And it's like, doesn't work. But anyway, that's my soapbox. The trolls can have that. Anyway, Gordon Ramsay, also funny. If you like swearing and crazy, also funny. Super fun. Amy says, I used to watch Daz a lot. I like their roleplay channel. It is, Tabletop Time roleplay. Also really fun because they usually go on crazy tangents, or like the D&D stuff where people are doing crazy stuff is also fun. Also chefs. I love watching cooking. And here, Alton Brown is back on Facebook. If you like cooking and you like science, he's amazing. And he's now doing little shorts on Facebook, and it makes me happy because he uses the science and he makes the food, and he is just wonderful. Yeah, good stuff. I love it. Do that. More of that. Find the thing that does the thing for you. They call it glimmers. So the opposite of a trigger is a glimmer, something that makes you, I love it. That. Find those things. Write them down. You will probably not remember them. Put them in your phone. And then whenever you're having a sad day or a hard day or a crap day or a bleep this day, look it up and pick a thing off your list and go, I will listen to blues now. I'm going to go sing along with Disney for a moment because that works for me. I'm going to go watch pretty Arabian horses dance around an arena for a minute, or watch Spirit or The Last Unicorn, or I'm going to go see my pony, or I'm going to get myself a really fancy little beverage and pretend to be fancy and sit in a little French cafe with a little French desserts and eat something delicious. Those things all do it for me. So find your things and you'll have a good time. Watching gaming channels. Alton, see, you guys are my people. Tabletop Time and Alton Brown. Karen, I'm not wrapping my head around my issue at the moment. Must have missed something. Oh. Well, hopefully you figure it out. It's not, sometimes you can't get at the thing itself. It's easier to deal with the stuff adjacent. Like I did EMDR therapy, and you don't have to deal with the thing or talk about the thing, but the way it comes up in your body. It's like, oh, my back hurts. Why does it hurt? Am I feeling heavy? Am I feeling angry? Am I feeling sad? Am I frustrated? Am I hopeless? Am I all these things? You can also do positive things too. And that sometimes adjacent can help. But yeah, that's a total thing. Allison says, here's something funny. We like to go to the store that has googly eyes, and they have the sticky backs and put them on packages. Doesn't hurt anything, but it makes people laugh. I love that too. Like little bombs of adorable. That's an awesome thing. And you are doing a service to humanity because it is awesome. Like people that share memes all the time. So good. See, there's so many wonderful things you can do. Love bomb artists and compliment their stuff, seek new people out, go support somebody who's just starting out and this is their first piece of art and it's like $5, buy a sticker. Like, so many wonderful things you can do. So now that my soapbox has been thoroughly stood on, I will change topics and let you guys wander away. Hopefully you found something useful. If you did have questions, or you want me to address something deeper, I can always dive deeper, or if you have topics you want me to cover for the next time, put them in the chat, email me, and maybe it'll come up, because this is kind of fun. I think it's helpful. I found a lot of healing through art and the community, and I want to give that back and heal the community, because I think we are in a place of a lot of division and a lot of negativity and toxicity, and that if we can curate, like I was talking about, we can make that space. And the more we do that, the bigger it gets, the stronger it gets, the more resilient it gets, and eventually the trolls can have their little troll island and we can have our little island and we can coexist. They can be over there, we can be over here, however, but we can have the thing we want, rather than being sad that we don't have the thing we want and complaining that it isn't, it is this thing. Because Troll Island, they're kind of like swampy little things. So that doesn't sound like a lot of fun and brightness. But that's just me. That is my vision. You don't have to share my vision. You don't have to share my opinions. You don't have to like my opinions. You can disagree, take what you like, leave the rest. Whatever works. I'm here if you want me. Kidding. There's enough of that. All right, now that that soapbox is off, I do have one Medallion Club peeky thing to show you guys. Since the boxes haven't actually shipped, nobody's got their medallions, so I don't want to spoil it. If you don't want a spoiler, look away for like 2 minutes, and I will show you a thing, because I meant to show you last time. Because not only do we have, and I won't reveal the revealy thing, this one, Swampy Nessie Creature, which is a Kelpie. We have realistic Kelpie that looks like chocolate dessert, which is wonderful. But I couldn't resist. And now you can put a horn on her, and now you know what she looks like. This actually works way better for lighting. Look at that work. Goodness. Spend like 5 extra minutes and think about it for 3 seconds with my squirrel brain, and it works. There is also glowy versions of Ness in some of the boxes. Limited to 5 that went out with the club, and then I will probably have an addition of 20 total or 25 total. So I'll sell a couple of extras of the glowy variety if you would like them. There is glow purple and there is glow green, green yellow. Well, no, it's green blue. And I don't have a sample to show you, but it's so strong it glows through the packages. That's what I peeked before. So excellent. Do I have a photo? I might have one photo of it in mold. Let me just double check that. Haha, this is not processed. But, ta-da. So the top one is like a UV glow purple, like purple. It's like ultraviolet glow. It is a very special purple glow powder that took me a while to source and figure out. It does take a lot of UV charging, but it is such a cool effect. It's so hard to get it across on the camera. And the bottom one glows super strong. I actually charged the bottom one after I charged the top one. So the bottom one is actually a little bit duller than it normally would be. And that's without the, I didn't take the flashing off for the photo because, yeah, anyway. So there's 5 of these. There's 2 purples and 3 of the green blue that have gone out in boxes. You will know almost immediately if you got the green blue because it'll have a little bit of a yellow tint to it. And I also put a little note in all but one box because I forgot it, that they glow. So 5 of you lucky people will get a pretty glowy pony. And then I will have a couple available to sell so that nobody comes with their torches and pitchforks. Because, you know, some of you might. Which is super cool. And you can paint over the top of them like normal. You can clear gesso over areas to have them still glow. The green one probably will still glow through, through thin paint jobs, I would imagine. I haven't tested it, but it glows. So, yeah. You could probably trade yours with somebody with a normal one if you wanted to not have a glowy one. But super cool. Oh, Amy says, I'll be part of the cool family you never had. Thank you. And this is the nice thing. We can create community and have family that some of us may not have had a good family. So I've always found a lot of good connection within the model horse community. So I want to give it back. I want to, with the great power comes the great responsibility thing. I don't take that lightly. Let's see. Practicing kindness is important, says the Judy. Tis, do the thing. Jess says I missed your soapbox. Well, I did one last week too, so you need extra soapbox. I should put like soapbox warning and then here's the hour I talked. Anyway, super funny. Let's see. I'm going to listen to nonstop K-pop Demon Hunters just like usual. Also a really good way to recharge yourself. I love the way that they animated that. It's such a cool look. And then there was somebody that said that they changed the like the demon characters are animated on a different frame rate than the demon hunters and the people. So they actually changed the frame rates between the two. Look it up on YouTube. It's really cool. The stuff behind it is really neat. Soda Pop is in my head on repeat. I know, especially if you have kids, there's no getting that out. Or you just are awesome and it works. Amy, yes, you better be doing the shoulder thing with it too, Katie. Shoulder thing. Oh, yeah. I must leave so I can focus on sewing until the next time. Have a beautiful week. Nice. Thank you for coming, Jess. Have a good one. I'm going to get off my soapbox. I wanted to show that peak. And then my hyperfixation for the week, other than trying to like ninja my way around all the crazy and do the things that we just talked about and keeping my soul vibing on the right level, is all of this programming and macros. Oh my goodness. It's been like nonstop. I haven't even planted those bulbs in my garden yet. I need to have like a hyperfixation alert thing. One day I'll do the pre-videos. But programming all the macros, it's actually amazing when you look into the programming, because I've had to, of everything that you can do with Google Docs and with the Excel macros and all the programming in the back end. In Google Docs, you can have things automated, so it will perform certain things at certain times. So I can have it go in and summarize the club members and tell me how many people in each shipment I have this month, so I know how many stickers to order. And it does that at the beginning of the month automatically and sends me an email and says, hey, this is what your counts are for the month. And it's kind of like having a little assistant, but I made it myself. It's like little computer baby, a little bit. I actually took programming in high school, so it's kind of funny that I'm actually using it a little bit now. And then going in and doing macros and documents. I'm having my tasks have gotten so complex with all of the shipping and the spreadsheets and the tracking and the emails and the automations and all the stuff that happens, that I actually have had to do a indexed document that goes over all of the steps, because my brain gets so divided in 100 different ways trying to remember how to do 1,000 different things that I need to write it all down. But thankfully, Google Sheets and Google Docs lets me go in and do it and say specifically, like, here's a hyperlink to this sheet. We go here, we do this, we do that, we do this, we do that. It's all color coded because I need the color coding so that my brain doesn't get bored and also understands. But you guys wouldn't believe, one of these days, maybe I'll show you the behind the scenes of how it all works. But then one little thing in the code decides it wants to not work that day and it poops itself. Or PayPal decides that one day it's going to take its outputs or my shipping program, and it goes, oh, I'm going to change this one letter. And then it breaks the whole system and I have to go figure out why it's broken. Pray for my brain. It is holding a lot of tabs and they are all open and playing music at the same time. So that's been my hyperfixation, which I find fascinating and frustrating in almost equal amounts. So some days I'm like, I'm going to throw my computer out the window. Some days I'm not. Some days I'm like, this is incredible what these programs can do. I am like, the fact that Google Sheets can send me an email and be like, here's your counts. This is how many stickers you need. Takes that little bit of brain power and just is like, oh, I don't need to use that part of my brain today. which is really nice. It's nice to do nice things for future me. But on that note, that is all the hyperfixation I have. I have not done anything else but admin and programming. I need to get into mold making and get a test cast of the classic Juggernaut and pray that our originals make it across the border and we resolve these shipping issues, or that my alternatives work, because that has been a whole nother level of, and that's why I can't get stagnated, or I would just give up. If I let myself hit the dam instead of use it as a rock to scoot around, I would just stop and give up and be like, that's it. Legs in the air. I give up. Maybe I'll do a horse like that and express that in something. Just like, ah. Yeah, it's like that sometimes. All right. On that note, I will let you guys all go for the week. Thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully you got something from the soapbox. I will try and go back on the YouTube version of this and put the timestamps in. So if you want to go back to the rant and the soapbox, you can. If you want to check out just what my hyperfixation is for the week, just the studio updates or the general hobby stuff, you can, or peeks and spoilers at the end. I'm going to try and keep them fairly consistent in how I'm doing them, but that doesn't always work. All right. I have been in touch with everybody with orders. I will keep you all up to date as to how the shipping stuff goes. Do not feed trolls. Curate your garden of happiness and how you would like your hobby, your life, your relationships, your friendships to be. Do not let rotten apples in to infect your soul, because it will happen. It will. Do not let them. You can set boundaries. If they change their behavior, then great. If they don't, it's not good. And look for those red flags, because sometimes they're hidden under a lot of stuff that looks really nice from the outside. All right, don't feed those trolls. Let them have their troll island. If they decide to eat all of the moss, then that's their problem. All right, love you guys. Thank you, as always, for being awesome and being there and being part of my positive community. And I will see you next time.